Hey folks, how y'all doing? This is Fat Guy Flies RC. Yeah, got another plane here, imagine that. Before I get started, I want to give a big shout out to HobbyZone for sending me out this FMS Pilatus PC-21 for a review. We're going to do an unboxing video, show you everything that comes with the box, how it's laid out, what to expect to find when you open the box. And then we'll come back and do a build and radio setup video after that. So let's start with the unboxing. And like with all FMS E-Flight Aeros products, as I expect, the box is going to be tight and going to be well packed. So let's go ahead and sometimes when you unbox these things, take them out. Sometimes the suction is there's so much suction, if you undo the other end, it'll slide out. This one's not quite as bad as ones I've had in the past. And I have unboxed and put together one or two of these RC planes. My time, just a few here and there. To go over a little bit of the specs of this plane. Okay. Just so you know, this plane is basically what is used to train, I guess it's Swiss pilots, I think it's Swiss, to fly jets. But they have to train in this before they get a jet. The wingspan is 1,100 millimeter. The length is 1,235 millimeters, which actually is interesting because, like a lot of jets, their fuselage is longer than the wingspan, which gives it that dart-like or cigar-shaped sort of appearance, and also means it kind of just goes straight through the air like a dart. Very much a locked-in plane when she's balanced right. Motor is a 3541 brushless motor with a KV of 750. If I remember, it's a 5-bladed prop, 40 amp ESC. Center of gravity is about 90 to 95 millimeters from the leading edge. 5-bladed 10x7 5-blade prop. Recommended battery is a 2600 to 3300 4S. Do not try flying this on a 3S. You want to fly this one on a 4S. Y'all, long-time viewers of my channel, you're saying, wait a minute, you've had this. Yes, I have. I have had this plane before. And I've since sold it to the club, and kind of wish I hadn't because I wanted it back. Well, as things would progress, HobbyZone sent me one and said, hey, can you unbox it and review it for us? And I'm like, hurt me? Yeah. Gee, I think I will. Very nice of them. There's your first thing I'm taking out is the small spar. This goes into both halves of your horizontal stabilizer. Horizontal, meaning this way, don't cut yourself, or elevator. Okay, there's your vertical. Well, actually, this is one half of the horizontal stabilizer or elevator. This is the other half. Okay. All right, cut this foam insert out. Always pay attention to how everything is laid out in here, because God forbid you find a problem and have to pack it back up and send it back, which that does happen. Now here's a gripe I have, and a lot of us, why couldn't they just taken the manual and laid it there? But instead they fold it in half. Makes it hard to read it when it's folded in half. Your little bag of goodies. Hey, no Phillips head. I'd forgotten that. No, I think that is a 2 millimeter. Your little bag of 2 millimeter hex drive there. Yep. 2 millimeter hex drive is all you're going to need to put this plane together. I do believe there's some little antennas you may have to glue on, but they more than likely will just pressure fit right in there. More than likely, we'll have to see. Alright, if I can get my greedy little fingers in there. Come on now. Come on, man. Come on. All right, here's your spinner. All right. Very nice nose cone spinner. You do not have to put, don't forget this. This comes with a reflex in it, which is a gyro that has three levels. One is optimized, which is very similar to the Spectrum's or E-Flight's AS3X or wind mitigation. Not self-level, just helps even out the bad wind. No gyro, which is no help at all. No gyro, just connection. And then the last level is stability, or same thing as self-level, okay? And that also has the wind gyro, which is wind mitigation, but also has a self-level, which means you let go of the stick, the plane is going to self-right itself. Great for a beginner. Very much the same as Spectrum's safe mode. And SAFE stands for Sensory Assisted Flight Envelope, SAFE. In this particular gyro vector, it is the stability mode. All right, wing is one piece, so you do not have to assemble the wing. You've already got, that paint is so thick, I can't tell. I know there's a spar in there, but I can't see through this wing at all. This is very dense foam. Just the feel. You are very hard pressed to find the individual foam cells. I mean, you can see them, but boy, you can't feel them. And let's see how kind of I try not to push a control surface down. I like to grab the servo and move the control surface. Okay, that is a foam hinge. And a foam hinge on the aileron also, but it does look like there's maybe a little bit of laminate in there. Can't really tell. But I'll still be using my beacon hold the foam to put a layer of protection on there. You can also use Blenderm tape, but Blenderm tape, of course, you have to you have that tape stuck there, and then when you take the tape away, well, then there goes your paint too, water-based paint. Yeah, this is the Swiss livery PC-21 Pilatus, 1100 miller. This plane, you notice the wing tips are kind of turned up. This is a very, very stable plane. Having flown it before, I can tell you from experience, it's a very stable plane. If you have her balanced right. If you don't have her balanced right, then like any plane, she's going to fight you. So CG is key in any plane. I mean, there are some planes that just pretty much put the battery anywhere and she's going to fly good. A lot of your high wings are that way. But anything that's fast or it's meant to fly fast or sport-like or a wing, CG is very critical. Little things like this, they put these little pieces of foam in between the parts. That just helps protect it in shipping, and just a nice touch. It shows that they care about their product. And to be more precise, they care about you being satisfied with it because they don't want to have to deal with you when you're mad at them because you sent them a dinged up piece of crap. You know, they want your investment to look good at least when it arrives. All right. You see what I'm saying about a very long fuselage. It's longer than it is wide. All my little pieces of this, that, and the other are flying away on me. So let's... A lot of people tell me they like my channel because they say I keep it real. And basically, I just think I'm clumsy. But I don't sugarcoat things. I don't edit things out. Or try not to, unless it's unviewable. Like lots of times when I'm filming a flight video or my wonderful camera lady, my wife is filming, sometimes if the plane gets out of view for so long, always check all parts of the foam coffin. Always check, because you never know what's going to be hidden in there. Back to what I was saying, sometimes I do have to edit something, because if you can't see anything and nothing's going on, then you're just watching on blank nothing. So it's better to edit that part out and cut back to where you've actually got some content. But as far as editing out mistakes or editing out things that I don't think are right, no, I show that. Because I have found bitterly, and it's this way a lot with life anyways, you'll learn 10 times more in the RC world from a crash. You'll learn 10 times more from a crash or a mistake than you ever will from a victory. Now, back to this plane. You've already got a lot of little scale details are already glued in, like your little antennas here. Latch system. Man, that sucker's in there tight. Oh. That's just in there tight. See how that paint? That's that water-based paint. Little chips of paint came off. You know, this thing sits in a warehouse. It's hot. Then it goes into a shipping crate, goes to a boat. You know, different temperatures, things expand. That paint will sometimes chip off. That's just part of it. It's going to happen. See that orange box in there? That is that reflex system. Now, where I find everything as far as these gyros go, what I like about the reflex is the simplicity of it. What I don't like about it is I can't go in there and adjust the gains. And what I mean by gains is the gyro, when you're flying the plane, the plane senses that wind. The gains is how much, like this is the ailerons, the gains will adjust how much throw, how much movement they need to give them ailerons to keep that plane, you know, rock solid as it flies through the air and the wind messes with it. Well, and that's all done instantaneously. With the vector and the system, the reflex is pretty good about keeping up, and you can't have too much of that wiggle waggle when the plane flying with the gyro overcompensating. The reflex is okay with that, but AS3X in the Spectrum world is a little bit better at it. The closest second to that is the reflex, and then the next gyro that's up to almost to the reflex is the vector that you find in the Aeros world. They all do a good job, but if I had to rate them in by the ones that do the best job, E-Flight Spectrum's gyro mitigation, AS3X will be first, then vector, and then then reflex, and then vector. It just seems that way. Just from my own personal experience about how well it handles the wind mitigation. Now they all do great at self-level. Now, on this vector, or on this reflex, I keep getting the two mixed up. You have all these leads. They're coming directly out of the aft end of the reflex, and they're all labeled. So these are where you go to your receiver. You've got throttle, it's labeled. You've got elevator, you've got rudder, you've got aileron, and then you've got S-bus. Now, here's the kicker on these planes that require 6-channel, okay? Because you've also got gear, okay? And you've got this gear lead coming out, and this is coming directly out of the from the gear itself, okay? And what you have to do, you're going to plug your gear, this labeled gear, into your gear, or channel, I think 5, on a 6-channel receiver, Spectrum receiver, and then you're going to use up your other channel. You got your flaps, you know, you got gear. We're going to use up 6. Well, where does the S-bus, or the one that controls the vector, because the reflex, you want to put that on a 3-position switch. So if you want to be able to have everything the plane offers and be able to use all 3 levels of what the reflex offers, which is the no gyro, optimized, and then stability, if you want to be able to use all 3 of those, then you're going to need 7 channels. Okay? I'm sure there may be other ways of doing it, but that is the only way I know, is that you have to have 7 channels. So, anyways. Now, if you don't have, you just cannot get a 7-channel receiver, then you can use the reflex and it will be in optimized mode by default. That way it only requires power. So then you could actually plug it into your bind port on your receiver, which is always open, and it just provides power. But then you don't get the self-level and you don't get the gyro off. You only get the optimized mode by default, which means, and that's why these reflex and the vector sim, they are tuned for this plane, because they know a lot of people are, the 6-channel is most common, and so they're going to get a 6-channel, and that way it's tuned just for this plane. Just gives you the wind mitigation. If you're flying upside down, that optimized mode is not going to save you. You're just going to stay upside down. It's just going to fly really well as it flies upside down. You know. And if you're flying to the side of the barn, it's going to fly nice, straight and level right to the side of that barn. So it's not self-level. It's not going to bail you out. It's just going to keep the plane flying nice and straight for you. However way, the wind hits it, it's just going to keep flying straight for you. And, that's just, you have to understand that. So if you want to use all 3 levels, when you have a 6-channel plane that requires 6 channels, you're going to have a 7-channel receiver. All right, well, this was an unboxing, not an explanation. So 40 amp Predator ESC, big, spacious battery cavity. I get confused. I forget what I'm saying and where I'm at. Interesting thing about this, another interesting thing, these nice gear or door nose gear doors. That plane comes out, those doors come out like that, and then of course they tuck up nice and pretty whenever the planes and the retracts are up. Good looking plane. Good looking plane. Done the exhaust on the front. Believe it or not, these PC-21s, Pilatuses, they look like they would be super fast. And they are kind of sporty, but they're not like over the top fast. They actually fly out. What I was most taken aback when I first flew one of these is just how straight and narrow, and it flies like it's on rails if you've got it balanced right. All right, well, pretty much that's all you've got. You've got your 2 elevator halves back here that just slide in and then get screwed in. You put the little spar that I showed in between them. Wing is held on with 4 bolts, and that's pretty much it. So that's the unboxing. That's really all there is in one terribly folded manual, which I don't like. Manual's good, the content of it, but not the fact that it's folded, because that's kind of a pain in the butt. See, it's already folded on, closing up on me. Well, anyways, there you go, folks. That's the unboxing of the FMS Pilatus. Should be a very simple build. Slap the wing on, put the elevator on, mount your receiver in there. I'll be using a 7-channel, the Lemon RX Gen 2 receiver. This does not have any kind of gyro, or it just has a good, strong connection, and it's 7-channel. You can get these through Lemon RX themselves, which takes about 3 weeks to get to you, or you can get them through a company, Grayson Hobby, up in Loganville, Georgia, which is right outside of Atlanta. They sell them too. Now, if you get it, you can get them on Amazon, but they're like $30 on Amazon. Grayson Hobby, we're selling them for $15-16. Lemon RX, $15-16. Grayson Hobby only has what they have in stock, so if you can catch them, get them. These are good receivers. They have just as good range and just as good of a strong signal as your Spectrum AR620 or AR631. Now, a lot of people will get these planes with these reflex and these vector gyros in them, and then they'll put a Spectrum receiver in it that has a gyro. So why are you going to put 2 gyro systems against each other. Get a simple receiver like this or an AR620, and then take advantage of the reflex or the vector system, depending on which kind of plane you get. And why waste your money? Because if you're only going to use the gyro that's in your Spectrum AR631 or AR630, if you're going to use those, then throw the reflex away or pull it out. But understand, you've already paid for it. Why not just get a more inexpensive receiver like this or an AR620, and put that in there, and then take advantage of the gyro that you've already used. You only have to have one port for it to use it. So there you go. Well, folks, that's the unboxing of the FMS Pilatus PC-21. I can't talk. Big shout out to HobbyZone for sending me out this plane for a review. We're going to get her together, and with the next video, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless y'all. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and then cool planes. Bye-bye. Here's where I turn it off at. Right here.